Oh boy. That dinner was delicious. Can't wait for dessert. What's wrong with you? You seem troubled.
Well, Mr. Christian, you are a Catholic, right?
Indeed, I am.
I was thinking, how is it possible, in this 21st century of ours, to have an intelligent person like you being a Catholic?
I am not following.
Don't give me that. What I mean is, how can you follow a church that still believes that sex is a sin?
What?
Don't play me for a fool. As far as sexuality is concerned, the church is always saying, don't do this and don't do that.
Let me ask you some questions. Does the church allow you to play hockey with the Eucharistic host?
Of course not. Don't be ridiculous.
Does the church allow you to play Frisbee with the Eucharistic host?
No, it doesn't.
Does the church allow you to feed the Eucharistic host to dogs?
Again, no.
Then, I must conclude, using your own logic, that according to the church, partaking the Eucharist is a sin.
Not really. Those restrictions exist to protect the host, which is sacred to the church.
Same goes with sex.
Yes, I can see what you are saying. But still, I can't agree with all the restrictions that the church imposes on sex. I can't agree with your doctrine.
Just a while ago you said that the church taught that sex is a sin. That was wrong. How can you disagree with a doctrine that you clearly do not know?
Well, You got me. Then what is that doctrine of yours?
First, do you know what a soul is?
Well, yes, but it's difficult to find a definition.
It's easier than you think.
Isn't it something that is inside your body? Something that you must free from the prison of your body?
You are so confused. Let me explain. Now, let us meet soul. And meet body.
Hello, I am your soul. I am your essence, that is, the principle that animates the body. Hello, I am your body. I am a material being in which you are infleshed.
So, as you can see, the soul is not inside the body, but intertwined with it. Body and soul are not really in opposition, but form a very solid team. United, they are men. And God did not create them to be separated. A body without a soul is a corpse. A soul without a body could not interact with the physical world. It could not be heard, nor seen. The body allows the soul to manifest itself to others.
Look at that girl. I really like her. Wave her back. Let's have a pleasant chat with her.
According to the book of Genesis, whenever God created another part of the world, he saw that it was good. The same can be said of the human body. Rather than a prison, the body is a gift to the soul.
Ah, yes. Genesis. Isn't that the book that blames all the evils of mankind on the first woman, Eve?
Well, yes and no. The one to blame is the weakness of the human spirit, even though Eve sinned first.
However, you can't deny that Genesis has been used through the centuries to justify the inferior role that the Church attributes to women.
I can, and I will. The refutation of that assertion can be found in Genesis itself. The book of Genesis reads, and I quote, "And God created man to his own image. To the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them." End quote. So as you can see, Both man and woman are created in the image and likeness of God. Both have, therefore, infinite dignity.
But I thought that Eve was created from a rib of Adam, thus justifying her position of dependence from the male.
In fact, the book of Genesis gives a more detailed description of the creation of man a few lines below. When God created Adam, he gave him dominion over all creation. In paradise, Adam understands that he is like God, but that he simultaneously is not God. Likewise, Adam understands that he is not like the other animals, in that he possesses rationality, self-knowledge and will. Sadness starts to fill his heart. This is called original solitude. This sadness is easy to understand. Adam was created to the likeness of God. And God is a Trinity, a communion of persons, bound through love. It is not good for the man to be alone, says the Lord. So God creates woman from the side of Adam, flesh from his flesh, bone from his bone. Now it is possible for man to fulfill his image of God. Man and woman may experience love in a communion of persons.
All right. I can understand that man's purpose is love, and I agree with that. However, what does sex have to do with love? Why can't I have sex with someone just for fun?
Do you remember what I said about the body allowing the soul to manifest itself to others?
Yes.
That means that the soul speaks through the body. The body contains the language of the soul. Before falling in sin, man and woman were naked, and were not ashamed. The meaning of this passage is that, in the state of original innocence, man and woman saw the body with God's eyes. That is, they saw that it was good. Also, because they still were in the likeness of God, and since God is love, they would use their bodies to express that love. The original nakedness signifies that sexuality is the expression of love through the body. This is called the nuptial meaning of the body. Can you imagine the confusion if something like this happened?
I am feeling extremely happy. Hooray!
Or something like this?
I'm so depressed.
If that were the case, your body would be lying about your soul's feelings and intentions. When you practice immoral sex, you are also lying with your body.
Hey, baby, this is just for fun. I love you.
In the case of fornication, you're saying,
there is no need for marriage, no need for commitment. I am one with your flesh. I am sharing my most intimate self with you.
Or, in the case of prostitution,
I paid for you. I own you. I am giving myself totally to you.
So, again, lying with your body.
But I can't understand why lying with my body about my sadness or happiness is not immoral, but lying with my body about sex is.
Through sex, new lives are born. It is a very serious undertaking that needs responsibility. Also, sex is the language of love, and God is love. The language of love should not be talked in vain, or you risk banalizing the very purpose of being man, God's image. Jesus said, "You have heard that it was said to them of old, 'Thou shalt not commit adultery.' But I say to you, that whosoever shall look on a woman to lust after her, hath already committed adultery with her in his heart."
Wow, that is extremely harsh. Who can bear it?
That is exactly what Jesus' listeners thought when they heard it. However, a more close look into Genesis sheds some light in this passage. When Adam and Eve sinned, losing their original innocence, they perceived themselves to be naked and were ashamed. But their bodies were unchanged. So what caused this change of attitudes towards their bodies? The answer must lie in the way they saw themselves. The answer lies in their hearts. Now you must know that, Although today we have only one word for love, there were several of these words in the languages in which the Bible was written. So, we have philos, for friendship love. Storge for familiar love. Hirosh, for passionate love. Agape for divine love.
So, Hirosh is sinful love, and Agape is true love, right?
Not quite. You see, all love starts with Hirosh. It is the natural attraction of man to everything that is beautiful and good. However, Hirosh must evolve to Agape, which is the total gift of yourself. If you experience love simply as an attraction to something beautiful, and not as a gift of yourself, you end up as treating your loved one as an object. That is why Adam and Eve were ashamed. They no longer used their bodies to express their love, but used each other's bodies as an object to pleasure. So, shame is an answer to concupiscence, that is, to our tendency to use other people as objects to our sexual gratification. And using people is a sin.
All right. But then could you tell me, if your doctrine is so partial to love, why is the Church against homosexual love?
About marriage, St. Paul says, "Let women be subject to their husbands, as to the Lord. Because the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the Church. Therefore, as the Church is subject to Christ, so also let the wives be to their husbands."
Aha! So the Bible does preach inferiority of women.
Let me finish. Husbands, love your wives as Christ also loved the church, and delivered himself up for it, that it should be holy, and without blemish. So also ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. Both man and woman have something to learn with each other about God's relationship with us. They are complementary. In homosexual unions, one of the sexes is excluded. The image of God's love for us is deformed.
Your doctrine deals a lot about love, but the Church believes that sex is meant for procreation only.
Remember that marriage is our way of experiencing God's love. God's love is fertile. God's love is fruitful. God's love is life-bearing, and gives itself totally, never holding anything back. So, procreation is not opposed to the unitive aspect of sex, but fulfills it into total communion with God's love.
All right. But if sex is so good, why does the Church impose celibacy on its clergy?
Jesus also said, "The children of this age marry, but those who are accounted worthy to attain to that age and to the resurrection from the dead neither marry, nor are given in marriage." So, marriage is exclusive of this world, and shall not exist after the resurrection. Priests and nuns try to live as in that future stage. Not because sex is bad, but precisely because sex is very good, but God is better. They fulfill the nuptial meaning of their bodies as a life totally given to others.
I didn't know anything of this.
I told you that you should listen, before judging. You have barely scratched its surface.
The doctrine of the Catholic Church is indeed very beautiful, and rational too.
I agree.
Darling, what are you doing here?
We agreed to meet after dinner, Sally. To go to the movies.
I'm sorry. All my talking must have delayed you.
Not at all. Love to hear about this theology of the body. I think we should try it.
But won't it be too hard?
It will. But everything is possible with the help of God.
I have faith that there will be happiness for us, if we love as God does.
Let's hope so.
Faith, hope and love. That is a very good path for happiness indeed.